One, and today I am going to show you on how to make a semi-realistic drawing of two creepy twins. Because why not? It does sound kind of fun to learn about this, even though fun can be regarded as a social construct, which I kind of despise. But anyway, let's get on with the video. Yeah, it's a pretty funny title, but no, I'm actually not going to do that to you. So over here, we all started something very primitive and informative so we could have a better understanding on our mindset on how to construct the drawing, and eventually throughout its gradualism would soon eventually get better and better, even though a drawing can never be perfect, because in my opinion perfection is a manipulation. It grooms your mind and it makes you more obsessive, and it makes you do the most unnecessary, potentially harmful things that collapses your mind. So no, there's no need to be perfect on everything, because perfection is an unrealistic goal. So first we start with the oval of the head. So yeah, you can see that over here, and that seems to be like light brown. Yeah, I added some dark eyes, and as you can see here, it'd be a bit better if I added some grayish stuff on it. And if you're wondering what blush is that, well, some people, for some whatever reason, who the hell knows why, really, they think they're cool, but they're not really. Okay, they kinda are, but like the blush is named and is named an emoji or something like that. So it is very hard for me to explain it to you, but it just sorts up a hairbrush and you'll get the most accurate result. And as you can see, I even do the body. You don't even need to add an anatomy for this kind of drawing particular. It's not really like that serious, and I know the chin and the lips and the hair looks very unrealistic, but obviously we all have to start something small and eventually and gradually so we become better and better at it. See? So over here, it's not really complicating at all, really. You just put stroke, yeah. You just put stroke after stroke on the hair, like over and over again, and it's not really hard. Sometimes you have to adjust the color to make it darker, more brighter. And for an advice, I recommend making the hairline a bit darker and the middle section of the hair a bit brighter, and eventually be darker on the outskirts of the hair, like kinda on the top of the hair. I even added some hair on the face of it. I think that was a pretty good idea. So now you add an egg, which is just basically a blob that you put down there, so not really hard. Just add more and more hair strokes to make it look more like hair, because adding more of an object makes it more recognizable or more distinguished, really, because you need to add the value of it pretty much. And over here, I used Lana Realism Plus, which is a pretty good plus. I do use it all the time. It does help me out a lot. I kinda used the Lana realism plus as like an L plus at times. It does do well, really. I don't really use L plus as often, which I probably should use it a little bit more, and I do recommend you use it as well at times. And I decided to draw a skirt over here, which isn't hard at all, really. It's just only like a simple color. And you just make the lines thicker, add some light on the neck, and it would make a little bit more sense to add like a shadow, like some dark brush strokes around the neck, including over here as well. Because like light can't really exactly project to this angle fully because light can't go like flat out through the hair like 100%, even though like hair could like cover some areas of the light, but it's not really that great, so I don't really recommend you doing that. Really, that wouldn't be too necessary. But however, I would still recommend you adding some dark brush strokes over here. Really, it is like a very effective technique. I even added some darkness over here. I even added a little bit of darkness on her cheek, kinda thing. Yeah, think I'll call it that. Maybe on like the left or right side of her head, I guess. Yeah. This is starting to look already good, but you know what they say. We can always do better. See, I wanted to make the arms look more visible, especially on the left side, which you can see. Add some more heel strokes as much as you can, which is actually a very good technique. I know it's kind of weird, but it actually works out, especially like that. And over here, I know you don't really see it that much. I could completely understand you, but I added like a tint of greenish or yellowish, like a very faded color. I'll say it like this. And see, look at the chin. It actually looks a lot more realistic. You can't even see the outline of it, the dark, flat out black outline of it. Like her skin tone on the face is matching up to the chin, which is exactly on what we want. Decided to add a nose which doesn't have to be realistic. I think adding a white nose would make it more noticeable because I'm going to like be adding some dark effects, light effects, and I think it'll be a little bit more sense to add some detail on her face, like adding adding some like darkness like over here, like it's kinda like a detail to the face pretty much. Yeah, I think I wanted to make the eyes look a bit more noticeable, which would make a bit more sense pretty much. I used the Lana Realism Plus as like an L plus kind of thing. You can pretty much use other brushes for the exact same purpose. Like, it's not like the best thing you could do, but it does work out. Sometimes the results would be better or worse or just neutral and unnecessary. But if it works out for you, then yeah, that's the most important part. Drawing can be a bit unpredictable, yes, I get it. Which is why you can always undo or redo layers, and your work won't really lose a lot of progress. And I do use IBIS, and if you experience a problem where your your artwork basically like had an error and everything in your drawing got distorted, well, at first this was basically a death sentence for me. I was basically like devastated, but obviously I needed to find a way. And if this were to happen to you, just click restore artwork by playback. Like it would take a while, but it would be taking much more longer if you were to redo the artwork. So please restore artwork by playback. It will do absolutely no harm to your iPad, obviously. And as you can see over here, I added some lightness around her nose, some dark color on the sides of the head, including the middle of the head. And that to adjust like the proportions of the character. And I even like copied and pasted over here. And please like don't like try to redraw the character like in that way. You could just copy and paste it. It is no shame in it. You're still talented, and you still would be good at drawing, obviously, really, because like we're making a drawing on twins, and twins are mainly supposed to look the same, or it's genetically the same or whatever stuff like that. But yeah, I kind of like that detail over here. It kind of makes it look more like formative. Yeah, that's actually quite nice. I decided to make the background black because to make it look more intimidating, I added some lightness to hair and the faces, and mainly on the middle sides of the hair, like over here, especially like over here. Like, I would say it'll be kind of a way to express unity, which we as humans and animals as a whole, who have been living nothing in this rock, has any of that in our world, and we just have to try to be fair with each other because we are not capable of fairness. We are all still barbaric, and we all still try to be nice even when there's the most stubborn human beings ever. But well, anyway, yeah, it's always good to be kind and stuff like that. But let's get on with the video. And this is my favorite part, alright? So over here, you basically use linear light and or vivid light. Like particularly over here, like it kind of makes the person viewing the artwork with a sense of warmness or eeriness. Like I even added some like warm color texture and effects on the hill over here. It is pretty nice, yeah. And sometimes I would basically just make the hair darker or brighter because was like darkness and brightness can be a good contrast in, or maybe I could just call it as contrast to one another because they balance many things out and they actually produce some good results. And there we have it really. Even though I would will say that maybe I could make the shadows on the hair maybe a tiny bit darker, but overall, I am very impressed with the work I created, and I do hope you find it useful. And yeah, bye. Have a good day, and stay safe. Bye.